Video game players very often decide whether they want to continue playing from the opening scene of a game, which is why we've come up with a list of the top 10 most exciting video games that will have you hooked from the very first act. With build-ups so banging, they'll suck you right in. Without further ado, let's get into it. On number 10, we have Mass Effect 2. The game could not have started any better. Roaming around in Normandy with a new species of aliens attacking, who would expect a plot twist within the first 10 minutes of a game? BioWare woke up and decided, yeah, let's just kill the protagonist. Not only do you have to see your ship getting destroyed, but also watch Shepard die and burn, slowly drifting into the atmosphere of a nearby planet. The game is available on PS3, Xbox 360, Windows Microsoft, and Wii U. Number 9. Until Dawn. A choose-your-own adventure game with an extremely dramatic moment right at the start, when it instantly kills off two characters no matter what direction you choose to go. The overall mood of the game is spooky and terrifying, which requires the players to stick to playing and solve the creepy mystery. Because it gives players the freedom to choose their path, the game is extremely addictive. Players often replay games only to see what other plots are available to them if they make different decisions than they did the first time. We also want to see how many various storylines or endings there might be and how we can get there. The game is a PlayStation 4 exclusive though, so you might not be able to enjoy this mystery if you own an Xbox or some other console. Moving on to number 8, Uncharted 2. J.J. Abrams called the opening of Uncharted 2 the best of anything cinematic. The game's opening scene has also been tagged as the best opening to a video game ever. Everything you need to know about the game can be found in the opening scene. The gameplay, the mood, the theme, and quite literally everything. From the prequel, we have an idea of Nathan Drake's personality. He never settles for less, is incredibly skillful and daring, and would pursue the most unbelievable adventure possible. And we anticipate that this game will have a similar story. As soon as the game begins, we discover Nathan in a very awful, terrifying condition. All our assumptions regarding the plot are proved to be right. He appears to be in a train cabin that's hanging vertically while dealing with a bullet wound to the belly. Nathan asks, "What's going on?" And to be quite honest, Nathan, that's the question we're all anxiously waiting to be answered. After which he falls off the train cabin and is now hanging by a pole. Dear Lord, help this man! Or at least us. The game is only available on the PlayStation 3, but we feel it should have been more widely available so that more people could enjoy the masterpiece that it is. Now we have number 7, The Ghost of Tsushima. We think that Ghost of Tsushima is one of the very few video games that isn't scared to show some real whooping of the good guys by the bad guys. The video game is set in the 1200s when the Mongols invaded Japan, starting from the island of Tsushima. 80 samurai versus a Mongol fleet. The game gives an actual gut punch in the very beginning when a samurai, Lord Adachi, is sent to challenge the Khan for a duel and is burnt alive. The samurai march for battle and end up losing. Our character, Jin Sakai, survives but sees his uncle die. A very non-traditional approach to what we usually see the good side go through. However, this is what sparks the flame for revenge in Jin's heart. And so begins the journey of revenge and redemption. Only PS4 and PS5 players have access to this game. We don't know whether it will be available on other platforms or not. In the meantime, PS players can enjoy themselves. God of War 3 is at number 6. It's gods versus titans in the God of War 3. What more do you need to play the game, right? But just as we were thinking that, the developers shocked us with the astounding opening scene. We have Zeus narrating his backstory and telling us about the significance of Mount Olympus. While he's at it, the camera sweeps and shows us visuals and scenes of the mountain. Later we witness Titans climbing toward the mountaintop where we await the gods for the ultimate battle. Naturally, Kratos is involved. Scenes cut and we see that Zeus and the other gods are dropped from the peak. And just as we think that our protagonist Kratos is standing on the ledge of the mountain, we find out he's standing on the shoulder of a giant. This is where it starts the quite literal giant starting of the video game. Number 5, Far Cry 3. Wake up in the skies, you thought you had your finger on the pussy trigger, but down here, you hit the ground. These are the lines with which the game starts. The first word that Voss Montenegro says to Jason as they're seen trapped inside a cage by the madman. After attempting to escape, the antagonist kills Jason's brother in front of him. Jason then manages to escape and runs frantically through the forest till he falls off a bridge into the water below. And the last thing that he remembers seeing before he loses his consciousness is a tattooed forearm pulling him out of water. This scene will compel you to play further and figure out who was the man who saved us. Number 4, God of War 2018. This whole God of War franchise reboot is based on a father-son relationship. One of the best jaw-dropping moments in the game, in Act 1, is the appearance of Jormungandr, also known as the World Serpent. Its size and speech are enough to make a player go, wow. This game is filled to the brim with bloody, visually pleasing over-the-top combats and puzzles. It's one of those video games that allow the player to explore and do their own thing. However, this franchise shows that Kratos is now a parent. He's calmer and older, with probably more responsibility. At least that's what we expect from a parent. Number 3, Uncharted 4. One of PlayStation's top hits, the starting of Uncharted 4, A Thief's End, is set before the prior 3 titles, where Nathan Drake, along with his brother Samuel Drake, have made their way into a prison in Panama through bribing a warden, so they can find clues to an ancient treasure. The warden finds out the reason for why they're there and threatens them unless they give him a cut from the $400 million worth of treasure. Nate and Sam, along with Rafi, who kills the warden, are now escaping the prison. Making their way through, right at the escape window, the game takes you with shock as Sam is shot dead, or at least we think he is, until further progress in the story. A PlayStation exclusive and one of the best games to exist. You can play it multiple times and still not get bored. Number 2, Assassin's Creed 2. It's a good life we lead, brother. The best. May it never change. And may it never change us. Little did our Italian fellow know that his life was going to change, and it was going to change him forever. The scene rolls out with Ezio and his brother running on the rooftops of Renaissance Italy, and when they reach the top, we're given the Assassin's Creed bird's-eye money shot as the title rolls. Later in the video game, Ezio watches his brother and dad die in front of his own eyes. Heartbreaking, right? We thought so too. And finally, number 1, we have The Last of Us. We didn't expect anything less when we found out the developers of this game are the same as Uncharted. After all, they're famous for jaw-dropping moments and unexpected plot twists. The Last of Us is said to have the pace of a movie and the emotional punch that is usually reserved for TV. The video game's opening scene gave everyone a shock when some secrets were revealed regarding the whole plot, something that was never before discussed or could have been guessed by anyone. The first few minutes of the game introduced us to our protagonist, Joel, and his daughter Sarah. Yes, the protagonist is a father. This was never discussed throughout the trailer promotion period of the game, which is why it came as a shock. So while fighting zombies, my friends, we now gotta look after a child. What does life come to? However, as the video game proceeds, we see that Sarah isn't as lucky as her dad, since Joel witnesses life seeping out of his daughter's eyes. But my folks, that's exactly how you lure people in. That's all, folks, and that's a wrap for this video. Do you think we missed a video game? If so, which one? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.